Third world thugs is the word US Congressman Matt used to describe Africans. Watch this clip, we'll come back and discuss.
You know what a real U.S. president would do? Say that C-130s are on their way to Niger today with the water and the medicine and the food our troops need, that they will have a full fighter pilot escort there. And if the Nigerian government or any other third world thug tries to even turn on their air defense systems, we should show those leaders and those thugs what the target package looks like on their houses and their family members, because it should not be Americans that are suffering because President Biden and Blinken are so embarrassed that their strategy in Africa failed. It started back in March of 2023. Secretary of State Antony Blinken went to Niger and proclaimed that it was a model of resilience, a platform for great democracy. It would be where America would execute its Africa strategy. 1 year later, almost to the day, there was a coup in Niger. And I know this will surprise you, but after that occurs, they say they want our bases that U.S. taxpayers have poured more than $1 billion into gone. They want our service members gone.
As you watched in that video, he also called for invasion of Niger. He was angry, like you can hear it in his voice. But why are you angry at us? Why are you angry at Niger? You should be angry at your own government. He talked about this is US taxpayers' money. Did Niger force you to use your people's tax money to build a base? He said it cost $1 billion. So how is that, again, I'll ask, how is that the problem of Niger? Your people decided to build a base in a foreign land far, far away. And when they lost an ally, which is President Bazoum, he was in power, he was their buddy, they loved him. They loved him so much. They went almost crazy when the coup d'etat happened and he was overthrown. It was such a mess, if you remember, right? Like the US, France, the EU in general, they were in shambles because they wanted that president to stay in that position because he is an ally. They called him an ally, actually. And so they were mad. But then the Nigerian military government, when they took office, they said, okay, you can leave now. And US was mad. By the way, and I don't even want to put it like that. Like, it's not fair to say Niger kicked them out just like that. No, they kicked them out after US disrespected Niger. Do you remember the whole story that came out when US officials were demanding that Niger listens to them and they can't have allies like Russia or China? And Niger was like, hold up, we're a sovereign country. You can't dictate that. And we don't respect this treatment. So we're going to cut ties. So long story short, now the US troops are leaving Niger. The first batch left. I think the last batch, they're supposed to leave in September, right? So we've been following up the story. Like, he can't make us believe that all of a sudden the leadership of Niger are the most horrible people. And it's not just them that he insulted. He said the Nigerian military government, as well as other third world thugs, right? So he's talking about other Africans as well. So he's not just targeting Niger. These people, honestly, the double standards, the hypocrisy, the lies, the reframing of stories, the narrative change, they just don't stop, do they? Every day it's something new. They're always a victim. They're always the ones that, look at us, we lost taxpayers' money. You lost, not the people of Niger or not the leadership of Niger. You did that to your own people. Why were you taking $1 billion to build a base in Niger? Why don't you use that money to solve homelessness in your country? Why don't you do that? Why don't you help Black people? They've been asking for reparations. Why don't you pay that? Why don't you do some good with it? Instead of focusing or throwing money in war and supporting rebel groups, why don't you do that instead of harassing other people and meddling in other people's politics? You are the problem. Look at yourself in the mirror and figure it out instead of calling us thugs, third world thugs. Well, whether you like it or not, these thugs kicked your troops out and they no longer want a relationship with you. What are you going to do about it? You know what this story reminds me of? An African proverb. It goes like this: Until the lion learns how to write, every story will glorify the hunter. Let that sink in. These people have been telling their stories from the hunter perspective for years, for centuries. But finally, when we are waking up and saying, no, this is not fair, no, we can't accept this, they want to spin the narrative. They want to act like the hunter is the victim, right? Not the lion. But then again, if we don't start speaking up and if we don't start telling our own stories as the lion, we'll end up like what this proverb speaks about, which is all the stories that are going to be told is going to be from the hunter's perspective. And as we're being hunted, we're always going to have the mentality of, oh, this white saviors. Let's think about that, fam. Anyways, fam, let me know down below what your thoughts are about what this US Congressman said in regards to Niger and the third world thugs.